Right, what's going on there, everyone? Welcome back to James Redmond TV. Before we get into the video, make sure you download the OneFootball app. Link is in the description. People, it is marvellous. Let me say that, because that's my opinion, and I want to give that opinion to y'all. Listen, it is a great app. I would suggest that you go and click the link in the description and download it for any transfer news, live updates, scores, anything to do with your team, other teams in any league, then make sure you go and download that. Any competition, you need an update, you need the new, go to OneFootball because it's all there. Absolutely amazing. Obviously, you can see on the screen right now, so up to date, so detailed, and you know what, mate, I'd recommend it to the next guy. And I want to thank them very much for sponsoring this video, because that's great of them, as they are helping the channel, therefore help them. But not only that, I was using this app even before they decided to sponsor the video, so really strongly recommend it. Go and download it. If I haven't said it once, let me say it again. Link is in the description. Enjoy the video, people. Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV, and we are here to talk about this weekend's Premier League fixtures that have took place. There's been some juicy games, and Liverpool versus Leicester was not one of them, at least for me anyway, but we are here to talk about the rest of them, because that's what I've started doing on this channel. You seem to like the videos of where I talk about other teams, so I'm going to continue to do them, and if you want to continue to see them, then smash a like and subscribe to become a part of the Redmond Army. And if you want to become a Redmond Army fella, then click the link in the description and you can do just that. But we have got, like I said, some juicy fixtures to get into and a few juicy little topics that I've came up with. Right, let me not confuse you. Basically, I've made a few conclusions, and a lot of them have been made on this weekend, and I want to tell them to you in this video. But we'll go through each game. We want to talk about Man City, Spurs. We want to talk about Arsenal, Leeds. I'm not going to lie, I'm watching Everton and Fulham literally as we speak, so that result will be concluded when this is all like uploaded and whatnot. So I don't know the result of this game yet. It's 44 minutes in and it's 0-0 at this very second. So basically 0-0 with the first half. It's half like a watch along this, innit? But hopefully Everton lose, because they've got 3 games in hand over Liverpool, and if they've won by now, then I just look stupid. So let's get into the fixtures. Yeah, man, we've got some juicy games to talk about. I think there's only one place to start off with, and you're probably thinking, oh, Man United, because they drew with West Brom. Listen, this is the one time where Man United have drew with West Brom, and I can't laugh at them, so no, we're not starting there. We're starting with Man City and Spurs. And not only because I can't chat shit about Man United and laugh at them, it's also because I feel like the City Spurs game, even though I've been saying for weeks now, like, listen, people, listen to me, City are gonna win this league. Like, there's no two shiny shites about it. They're too good. Like, look at their starting 11, and when they don't have De Bruyne there, and when they don't have Aguero there, look who they've got to replace them players. They have got... The fact that Gabriel Jesus is the only one really within that squad classed as shit. But who else is shit in that squad? No one. And Gabriel Jesus is still a sound striker. He might not be the greatest, but he's still sound. So the fact that that's the case just shows, and people can come up with City spend too much money. Everyone is spending dough except Liverpool. And I wish we was. So I can't really... Everyone is spending dough. You can't just use that as an excuse. Pep Guardiola has got these players working, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up City's arse, but you're seeing them battering everyone, and they're not just beating teams, they're getting clean sheets, they're scoring goals, they're outscoring teams, they're outplaying teams. And even though I thought we played well against them, you still saw who the better team was. You still saw who had the better squad. And even without Alisson making them mistakes, City still could have went on to win that game. And even today, when they played Spurs, the only real chances you can say Spurs had was a Harry Kane free kick and Gareth Bale, where he actually looked like the old Gareth Bale for 5 seconds, and for 5 seconds only. Shout out to Edge and Christian for the 5-second pose, for those who watch WWE. But anyway, yeah, it was like one of them things where, other than that, there was no threats. Diaz was not worried, Stones was not worried, Man City was not worried in any moment during that game. And there's one player that we've got to talk about when it comes to Manchester City, and that player is very much Ilkay Gundogan. And mate, Gundogan, whatever you want to call him, mate, either way, is it a shout? And this is one of the conclusions that I came to at the weekend when I was watching Gundogan, because he won the penalty and he also scored the two other goals for Manchester City. I think it was Rodri who scored the penalty, but is he in for a shout for the Ballon d'Or? And before you raise an eyebrow and you go, no, James, look at Jack Grealish, look at Bruno Fernandes. If we're talking about Jack Grealish, and if we're talking about Bruno Fernandes, goal-scoring midfielders, by the way, then you've got to talk about Ilkay Gundogan. If you want to talk about, I don't know, players like James Maddison and Phil Foden, you've got to talk about Ilkay Gundogan. He's been the best player this season, at least over the past month. You know, to say the season, I might have to do a bit of deeper research. Even Souček. Why is he getting the plaudits but Gundogan isn't? Why? Because he's playing for Man City. He needs to get the credit, man. And I like Gundogan. I like him a lot. I like the fact that he had that first season where he came in, he had to overcome adversity, he had that serious injury straight away. If you remember, I believe this was Gundogan, where they all wore the shirts because I believe he was going to have a bit of a lengthy spell out. We should have done that with Van Dijk, actually, now that I think about it. But it's good to see that he's came back and he's doing well, and even though it actually backfired against us, I like Gundogan as a player. I thought he was fantastic at Dortmund. I would have loved for Liverpool at the time to go and get him. And when we didn't, it was a big miss and whatnot. But now it's actually paying off for City in a sense that it's looking like it's being a great sign. He's only 30 years of age. He looks like he's in his prime. So I want to return back to the question, can Gundogan go for the Ballon d'Or? Because I believe he's in with a shout. Even if you don't think he deserves the award full stop, I believe he's still in massively with a shout. And like I said, feel free to disagree in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. But do I have a point when I say that is also one I'd ask. Another thing, Ederson with a great assist. Sanchez went flat on his face like there was no tomorrow. Mr. PS4 settings, as expressions would say. But even with the mistakes, even with Sanchez looking like a clown at one point, it was always going to be that type of a result. It was always going to be a City win. And another conclusion on top of the Gundogan possibly going and winning the Ballon d'Or is that City are now, even though I knew before City was always going to go and win the league, and they've won about 17 games in a row, they were always going to win it. Now that has put the nail in the coffin, and it's the Premier League season is over. Manchester City, congratulations to you, because Man United aren't going to catch up with you. And I've shown a lot of love and respect to Leicester City over the past few weeks. So don't get offended, Leicester fans, if you're watching this, but you're not catching up to Manchester City. It's a fact. It's just a fact. It's one of them things. But Manchester City 3, Spurs 0, great result for them. And even though they've got difficult fixtures coming up, City being, by the way, coming up against Everton, they've got Arsenal, I think, in a few games. I think they've got Chelsea as well. Even though they're tough games, you just think, who's the favourite? It's them. What are them other teams going to do to beat City right now? It's purely really off mistakes that you can maybe get a bit of luck. Other than that, you're not beating City by being the better team. They're just in that style of form right now. And I can see this being a really dominating season from City. I don't know if we're going to see this replicated in Europe, but at least in English football, we're definitely going to see it. Anyway, let's move on to Arsenal 4, Leeds United 2. And there's only one thing to say. Obama what? There was a hair on my face. Obama Black Clot Yang with his first Premier League hat-trick, I must say now, saucy. Even though he's had a shit season so far, very below par standards. He shared the golden boot with Salah and Mane a few seasons ago, and he's done really well since getting to the Premier League. But today he got his first ever Premier League hat-trick as the captain of Arsenal Football Club. And I'm not an Arsenal fan, and neutrals say, James, why are you blowing so much smoke up neutrals' ass? I kind of do these videos as if I'm like a fan of that club. Don't worry, when I'm talking about Man United, I'm not sitting here pretending to be a Man United fan, but I'm trying to be as neutral and as non-biased as possible. And I don't have really much hatred for Arsenal. I don't have much like for Arsenal, but I don't have much hatred for them. So to see Aubameyang, the captain, actually go out and make a proper statement, I would love that if that was my captain. If Firmino was our captain or Mane was our captain and they went and got a hat-trick, I'd be buzzing about it, especially when they've been on bad form. If Mane goes and gets a hat-trick now, I'll be made up. So to see that must be very encouraging if you're an Arsenal fan. And, you can see how happy Aubameyang is every time he scores. And you can see he's still one of the best finishers in the league. You can say what you want how he is as a player. But in terms of a proper finisher, pace, he's still there with the best of them, mate, and you can't take that away from him. Arsenal today, for me, were absolutely fantastic. You've also got to mention the youngsters again, Smith Rowe. Saka had another great game, oh my goodness. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Phil Foden's the best youngster in this league. That being said, Saka is a very, very close second, because them two have broke through like there's nothing else. It's Foden we've known about for a while, but now we're really starting to see. But Saka, even though we've known about him for a while too, we now know the respect they deserve, them youngsters deserve. Smith Rowe, the B-Tech De Bruyne, and it's not bad being a B-Tech De Bruyne in any sense of the word. And listen, Arsenal got 4-0 up, I think, after 65 minutes. Or no, I think it was even sooner than that. Either way, Leeds United got 2 goals back, and it was one of them things where you were thinking, are Arsenal going to fuck this up here? Because they've been dominating all game. They looked up for it. They just looked hungry. They looked like an Arsenal team with a point to prove. Not like the same Arsenal team they've been over the past 2 fixtures where they've lost against Villa and I think Brighton as well, or whoever it was. Either way, it looked like a team that wanted it. And if that was an Arsenal team competing like that week in, week out, and before them 2 losses, then you've got a serious top 4 contender. And before the season started, I said Arsenal should be top 4 contenders. And when I watch games like that, it proves me right. But then you see where they are in the league table, and they can't find that consistency. And it's the same reason why Liverpool don't deserve to be champions. We might have good games of football, but it's not coming often enough. And it's the same with Arsenal. They're having good games, they're having good results, but it's not coming often enough. So to say they deserve top 4 would be a bit absurd and would be a bit reactionary. I don't think Arsenal deserve top 4. If they go on a big massive win streak now and prove me wrong, then fair enough. But it's one of them things where I don't think they've got the consistency to be able to go on and overtake teams like Chelsea, who are now looking on fire, Manchester United. And even though we're kind of close to you right now, I'm also going to throw Liverpool in that mix. I do feel like we'll finish above you, but I don't mean that in like a cocky way. I don't know where Liverpool are going to finish. I'm just saying that because we need to finish above someone. Please, Jesus, Lord of Nazareth. But listen, great game, great result. Great for the neutral, I suppose, 4-2. But Leeds, even though they scored and they had 20 minutes left, it didn't look like it was going to go in their favour. You knew the better team was, and again, great 3 points there. Let me know who your man of the match was in that game. You'd have to give it to Aubameyang, don't you? That was a bit of a rhetorical question. Anyway, and then the last game we'll talk about is West Brom and Manchester United. And West Brom debut 4 new players in this game, which, even though you will feel would be actually going against them because they need to gel together and, you know, they need to get used to the new Allardyce system, you know, Allardyce system, whatever you want to call it. It actually looked like it worked in their favour. Now, they got a new striker, and I don't want to butcher his name, so I've written it down. Dian. Either way, he's Senegalese, so shout out to Mane's brother. And he got the opening goal in 90 seconds by basically beating Lindelof to a header. And not only did he do this, he actually could have went on and got a hat-trick. He left Harry Maguire for dead at one point. He was winning every header there was to win. He was aggressive, he was battling, and I don't know if it was his debut, I can't remember. They had quite a few players on the pitch that was newly there. So when I was watching it and when I was actually seeing it, even Maitland-Niles, when did that get up? When did Maitland-Niles go to West Brom anyway? I've been sleeping underneath a rock. Just the link-up play was good. I thought Maitland-Niles was actually quite shit. Who was that player in the midfield for West Brom that was decent? I think it was Gallagher. He might have got the assist for the first goal. It was brilliant cross, but he even had a great game just in terms of the creative side of things for West Brom. I don't know if he was a new signing or not. I haven't followed West Brom like heavily this season, but good result for them. Well, actually, for both parties, it weren't the best, if you're being real. Because when you look at West Brom, they're in the bottom 3. They need points to catch up with Fulham and whatnot. Then you've got Manchester United. If they beat West Brom, the title race is still very much on. But I've said it to you, United fans, and I'm not laughing at you, so I've got no reason to, but without trying to say I told you so, and listen, I got it wrong about my team, so I'm not right about everything, but you have not got enough to win the league. And at least there's circumstances that come into ours with you. You're just genuinely not good enough. Even with Paul Pogba in your midfield, Manchester United are not good enough to win the league with this manager. And without Paul Pogba in that midfield, after the form he's been in, you certainly now do not have a chance to go and win this league. Even if you won today, I still don't care. You've got players who can get you out at moments, like Bruno Fernandes. Listen, we've got a similar situation like Mo Salah. But you cannot ignore when it comes to link-up play, when it comes to a certain aspect of creativity from a deep role, Paul Pogba is essential to Manchester United's team, and people can say he's been a flop and whatnot. That's only because he came with high expectations. He's still a very, very good player that has a lot to offer, and so a lot of people seem to think I think Pogba's shit. I really, really don't, and that's why I'm actually thinking Manchester United could be about to have not a bad run like what we've had, but they could have a much worse run than what they probably saw coming, simply for the fact Paul Pogba isn't there. And I'm not trying to forget about Bruno Fernandes. I know how good he is, but he is also a moment's player. Not a bad thing. They're sometimes the best players in history, the ones who can pop up in the biggest moments when you really, really need them. That being said, even though that's the case, he's just not involved enough for me, man. Today I thought he had a poor game, besides what was a fantastic goal, and the same with many other fixtures. But I'm not trying to deflate Bruno Fernandes, but you can't just rely on him to be able to win Manchester United every game. Whereas Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, it's a bit of a different story because they make the team actually look a lot better. Conclusion being, Manchester United fucked the title race up for themselves today. And like I said, I still don't think it would have made a difference if they won, but it could have just kept it going for that little bit longer. But that finished 1-1. Before we do wrap up the video, let's have a little look at the league table and what this means. We'll look at a few other Premier League fixtures as well. I'm looking in this direction because this is where all the fixtures are on and whatnot. Wolves beat Southampton 2-1. Doesn't surprise me with the injury Southampton had. And they've still got, Ings got a goal, I believe. But good result there for Wolves in terms of the mid-table clash. I believe that takes Southampton to the bottom half of the table. Like I said, Everton and Fulham are 0-0 as I'm currently watching. We've still got West Ham to play Sheffield. We've still got Chelsea to play Newcastle. What other games was there? Brighton and Aston Villa 0-0. That was actually a very interesting game. Poor result for Brighton, as they really need to. Even though I feel they're going to stay up, and I've always been confident about Brighton staying up, I feel like they play a good brand of football. It's them type of results that kind of lower them chances, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though they're still very likely to do so, it's not helping yet in any way, shape or form. But Aston Villa are a very good side, and that's actually a poor result for Aston Villa, because that's the one thing they've been good at, is getting the goals and being able to keep the goal stopping at the other end. They've been able to do that part, but not that part, so it's one of them things. And actually, again, a good result for Liverpool. Aston Villa drawing, because that's our competition right now. Burnley beat Crystal Palace 3-0, which is a good result for them. And that looks like I've gone through all of the Premier League fixtures. So people, please smash a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment of your thoughts on, any things that I've said. Call me out on them. And I'm thinking about bringing a new comment show soon. I'm not exactly sure on what day or when it's going to be. Might be tomorrow, might be next week. I'm still trying to sort out when the best time for that would be. A preview's already out on the channel for Leipzig. Make sure you go and download the OneFootball app. Link is in the description. And I will see you all later, people. Peace out.